Just on the racetrack, journalism got out-jockeyed at the White House.
I want to treat people fairly, whether they voted for me or not. I want to have a unified country. It's very hard because the media is so fake, including, like, even the way you ask questions. Every question is asked in a negative vein. There's a toy company that took a toddler's, whatever, but you don't talk about the fact that gasoline is down at numbers that nobody believes possible.
We try to make sure every question is fair, Mr. President.
Look, every question you ask says a very negative slant.
No, but look, I'm just curious.
I'm fine for responding to you. I don't think you're very difficult at all to respond to be honest with you. But you know what? You should ask some positive things.
No one expects NBC to be a suck-up. It's NBC. But they have to acknowledge some good things are happening. And the fact that they can't do that proves who they're rooting for. And it's not America.
Prices are already going up on some popular items, tires, strollers.
This is such a dishonest interview already. Prices are down on groceries. Prices are down for oil. Prices are down for all energy. Prices are down at tremendous numbers for gasoline.
Inflation's down across the board since Trump's been reelected. And NBC's cherry-picking two products, but for years gave Joe a pass. Trump gets sworn in and NBC starts checking price tags like a penny pincher at a flea market.
Small businesses say they are being hurt by the Chinese tariffs, and some could be forced to shut down.
And many businesses are being helped.
Are you considering tariff relief for small businesses?
Why do you always mention that, you pick up a couple of little businesses? What about the car business? They're going to make a fortune because of the tariffs. Do you know that the union, the head of the union, who was no fan of mine, Sean Fain, I guess his name is, right? He didn't endorse me. The Teamsters did. A lot of people did. A lot of unions did. But he didn't. He couldn't stand me. Now he's saying, wow, what Trump's done for the automobile, I can't believe it. He said, we've been waiting 40 years for somebody to do what Trump is doing. So why don't you mention the big car industry instead of mentioning somebody that's doing strollers?
The media worship Barack for bailing out Detroit. Bin Laden's dead. General Motors is alive. That was the Obama-Biden re-election pitch, remember? But now Trump's saving the car business, and he's not even doing it with taxpayer dollars. And the media wants to talk about something else with four wheels, strollers, even though they don't want you to have a baby to push them in. Then Kristen Welker made a confession. She wants the border unsecured.
Border crossings are at their lowest level ever recorded. Is the border,
is that good?
Is the border now secure?
Yeah, it's really secure. Isn't it a beautiful thing when you say it's the most secure it's ever been in the history of our country? Isn't that a nice statement?
Well, I'm curious to know what it means. You declared a national emergency on the southern border. The order is still in place.
By the way,
even though you're saying
exactly
the border's
what you
secure.
said. It means we have the most secure border we've ever had.
Well, and I guess the question becomes, when will you know that the emergency is over? Are you planning to lift it at some point? Is it necessary? Because obviously the military is involved. Will you lift that emergency?
Welker thinks the border's too safe. Can we go back to Biden when there was no national emergency and we just let everybody in? Trump's emergency powers are what's keeping the border secured. During the pandemic, they never asked Biden, when are you going to give up your emergency powers? But Trump's only allowed to yield power for what, 100 days? He's fixing things too quickly?
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says
I don't know.
It
seems it might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials.
Even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said.
NBC took that and said, yep, we told you he's a dictator. They ran this headline. Trump, asked if he has to uphold the Constitution, says, I don't know.
New hoax alert. New hoax alert. New hoax alert.
The I don't know hoax. Trump says he's not a lawyer, but his brilliant lawyers are going to follow the orders of the Supreme Court. Get ready to get sick of that hoax. Trump's got a mass deportation mandate. Lower court judges can't let us commit national suicide. Biden let our country get invaded, and the court never stepped in to stop it. Trump was elected to stop the invasion, and now the courts step in. So the invasion doesn't get stopped? No. You can't have a functioning sovereign country if you let millions of people invade, give them lawyers, and squatters' rights. 20 million migrant trials? It took Diddy almost a year before jury selection. But Welker wasn't finished.
What do you say to those who believe you are taking the country down an authoritarian path?
Well, there you go again. Why don't you ask it a different way? Many people wanted to come into our country. Many people love Trump. I won the election. They didn't win the election. I got a lot more votes than they did. I think there was a lot of hanky-panky going on, but it was too big to rig. That's the good news. It's too big to rig. But let me just say, so when you make these statements about people say this, people, well, you know, they had their chance at the election and they lost big. So you should ask the question differently. You should say, what about the people that want to be in this country? What about the people that love this country?
When journalists pretend they're not biased, they're obviously lying. And that proves their bias. But they're not just biased against Trump, they're biased against the country. Welker then said, all right, let's cut to the chase. You're running for a third term, right?
Are you seriously considering a third term, Mr. President, even though it's prohibited by the Constitution? Or is this about staying politically viable?
I will say this. So many people want me to do it. I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do. I don't know if that's constitutional that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else, but there are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody.
It feels like the media really wants Trump to run again, doesn't it? Just so they can say, see, we told you he's Mussolini. They want to be right so badly, the Democrats are begging for Trump to throw them in jail. AOC says, handcuff me, Homan.
He was going to threaten to refer me to DOJ because I'm using my free speech rights in order to advise people of their constitutionally guaranteed protections. And he may want to do it again today. And to that I say, come for me. You're going to have to come for me.
AOC has a persecution fetish. She wants to be a political prisoner so badly for the attention so that she can be right about Trump for once, and the mugshot. That mugshot helped Trump win the White House, and AOC has her eye on the prize. Trump should just arrest her, just to make her the nominee, so Vance or whoever can smoke her. Hollywood says Trump's going to destroy the world. Here's Sean Penn.
I do think it's a reasonable theory that Donald Trump is not unlike the spouse of someone who leaves him perhaps for another, who then murders their former partner because if they can't have her, nobody can. And I think Donald Trump in his solipsism may have that relationship with the world, and that this destruction is in part a power play and also a literal intention of his final out. I think he might try to destroy the world before he ages out of life.
Trump's making peace deals in Europe and in the Middle East. Sean Penn 20 years ago would have had a MAGA hat, probably with a cigarette stuck to his lip, obviously. They said the world was going to end 8 years ago when Trump got elected, and now it's going to end again. And the world was going to end from global warming too. But guess what? Antarctica gained ice for the first time in decades. Look at that. Gore said the ice sheets would be gone. And NBC says the FBI director's popping bottles with models in the club. Except he's not.
Let's circle back to a segment from Friday's show. Frank Figliuzzi was on that morning during this hour discussing the work of administration officials. At the end of that segment, Figliuzzi said that FBI Director Kash Patel has reportedly been more visible at nightclubs than at his office at FBI headquarters. This was a misstatement. We have not verified that claim.
Not a great weekend for journalism. The other big scandal this weekend, Trump posted a picture of himself as the Pope.
Some Catholics were not so happy about the image of you looking like the Pope.
Oh, I see. You mean they can't take a joke? You don't mean the Catholics. You mean the fake news media. Not the Catholics loved it. I had nothing to do with it. Somebody made up a picture of me dressed like the Pope, and they put it out on the internet. That's not me that did it. I have no idea where it came from. Maybe it was AI, but I know nothing about it. I just saw it last evening. Actually, my wife thought it was cute. She said, "Isn't that nice?" I think it's the fake news media that, they're fakers.
Melania thought Trump looked cute as Pope. Now that is love. Yesterday, the White House posted a juiced-up photo of 47 with a red lightsaber. May the 4th be with you. Happy May 4th to all the radical left lunatics who are fighting so hard to bring Sith lords, murderers, drug lords, dangerous prisoners, and well-known MS-13 gang members back into our galaxy. You're not the rebellion, you're the empire. Trump has a special place for him. He's bringing back Alcatraz.
It represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz, the movies. But it's right now a museum, believe it or not. A lot of people go there. It housed the most violent criminals in the world, and nobody ever escaped. One person almost got there, but they, as you know the story, they found his clothing rather badly ripped up, and it was a lot of shark bites, a lot of problems. Nobody's ever escaped from Alcatraz.
The media and the Democrats woke up today and were forced to talk about Alcatraz. Please don't send foreign criminals to Alcatraz. You see what Trump's making them do? They look loony, and he looks like a creative problem solver. Trump's even solving a problem for balls in the White House.
We're going to make and build a ballroom, which they've wanted for probably 100 years at the White House. And it'll be a world-class, beautiful ballroom.
A ballroom that could cost millions of dollars. He says he will pay for it himself.
You will fund it.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask the government for money.
Would a dictator do that? I don't think so. Biden built a new Situation Room, made you pay for it, and then when they found the cocaine, blamed the construction workers. Trump's hoping to get that ballroom built soon because the NFL draft is coming to D.C.
I'm pleased to reveal that the 2027 NFL draft, that's a big thing, will be held right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., on the National Mall. And you get a little glimpse of it. I was just saying to Roger, I don't think there's ever been anything like that. That's a good idea. In fact, maybe we could use it for other things also. I have an idea. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be something that nobody else will ever be able to duplicate that, I don't suspect. It's very exciting.
So we have a military parade and the NFL draft coming to Washington. What did Biden bring to D.C. besides crime? And by the way, when I was in D.C. the other day for the Musk interview, there's no more homeless at the train station. Union Station used to be crawling with homeless. I didn't see a single sleeping bag. Even Trump's old enemies say he's doing a good job. And he's actually friendly, unlike Barack.
He never did my show when he did every other show. I had to go on the air and beg him on my 60th birthday in his 8th year in office and shame him into it, basically.
And he did.
And he finally did. But, it was at the White House. It was in the interview room. It wasn't fun. He must have had someone around him saying, I'm a very dangerous person, Louis. That's the thing. I'm a dangerous person who nobody can trust because I might tell the truth about something or ask a hard question. As far as just feeling free to just speak exactly how I feel, yes, I felt freer to do that with Trump than Obama or Clinton.
This isn't a dictatorship. It's a counter-revolution. And journalism can't keep up. They're stuck protecting the status quo. Meanwhile, Trump's planning for the future. Who's the next horse?
Do you think the MAGA movement can survive without you as its leader?
Yes, I do.
What gives you?
I think it's so strong, and I think we have tremendous people. I think we have a tremendous group of people. We talked about a number of them. You look at Marco, you look at J.D. Vance, who's fantastic. You look at, I could name 10, 15, 20 people right now just sitting here. No, I think we have a tremendous party. And you know what I can't name? I can't name one Democrat. I mean, I look at the Democrats, they're in total disarray.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.